Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Saturday HOA Brunch, presented by Angius&Terry, LLP. Please sit back, relax, and join Brad Epstein and Jonathan Broderick for an hour of entertaining information about HOAs and HOA law.
Good morning, Sacramento. August, what is it today? 22nd already?
August 22nd.
August 22nd. Saturday HOA Brunch, back in studio. Well, how was San Francisco last week?
San Francisco was fantastic. It was really warm. It was amazing. It seemed like I was in Sacramento, not San Francisco. It was so warm.
Really? So
was
it
it
balmy?
balmy?
It was balmy, just like it is today.
All right. Well, we've got Bianna Barbu, Brad Epstein, and Frank Jolly, the legend in the back. He's the one that waves at us and says, "Don't say this, don't say that."
Right? And you're Jonathan Broderick.
Yeah, and we are...
The Saturday HOA Brunch.
Right, you got it. So what do? We talk all about community associations.
That's right.
This is where you can gain all the knowledge that you need to be an excellent board member.
Or an excellent manager. Because today we're not just going to have Battle of the Board Members.
Yeah, we're going to have Battle of the Community Managers.
Battle of the Community Managers. These are the folks that take care of the boards and the owners and make sure that the board members do their fiduciary duty, which is to maintain and enhance the values of the homes at the development, right?
That's important.
Right.
Very
and I
important.
think this is also a really good show for the owners, too. Owners that are increasingly buying into homeowners associations, and maybe they get a little more information and understand we're kind of demystifying what the boards are doing, what the managers' roles are.
Yeah.
It's very
Maybe it'll help
helpful.
out a realtor.
Yeah, I think
Right.
I always say, hey, a homeowner today can be a board member tomorrow, right? Because they're volunteer positions. A lot of associations, they don't get enough people to volunteer to be on the board.
Right. Okay. So how can they reach us, Bianna, if they have a question?
Well, we always want to hear from our callers, so they can call us at 888-923-1380, and they can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Look up the Saturday HOA Brunch, and we really, really like to hear from our callers. Owners out there, board members, managers, whoever's listening, if you have any stories or you have any questions for us, please call us.
Yeah, and I always like to say that you can listen to our show not just as you're driving down the road on your car radio, but also you can go ahead and you can listen to it on your smartphone. And that's what I did last week.
Yeah, iHeartRadio, right?
Actually, I just click on 1380 KTKZ.
And done.
And done.
Loud and clear.
Right. And so you could have headphones, you could walk along. I know some of our board members, they will take walks in the morning and they'll listen to our show.
They have their beats, right?
Right. It is a Saturday HOA Brunch, so you are encouraged to eat a nice breakfast while you listen to our show.
There we go. All right, so Bianna, what do you want to talk about today?
Well, today we're going to be talking about member meetings. We've covered a lot of directors' meetings, board meetings, basically, but we never really talked about member meetings, and those meetings are equally important, if not sometimes more important, because it's the one chance that owners really have to participate and maybe have their say.
Yeah, exactly. We're not talking about a quorum of board members for a board meeting. It's a quorum of members for member meetings, and so there's we're going to show the different ways and the ins and outs and compare and contrast with board meetings, but we're talking about member meetings, and so it's the Davis-Sterling Act.
Yep, the Davis-Sterling Act. It's the part of the Civil Code, the California Civil Code, that provides for how community developments are to be run and how they are to be governed. And for those who are unfamiliar with how they operate, they are incorporated as nonprofit corporations. All homeowners associations generally are nonprofit corporations, and that is why they also have to comply with the Corporations Code.
So I guess my first question is, when are these member meetings held?
Well, the member meetings are held at different occasions. You have a member meeting annually, hence the name.
Okay.
Annual meeting.
All right.
Annual members meeting. Yeah, so we're going to look not only at the Davis-Sterling Act, but we're going to look at the Corporation Code. So you have the annual meeting required where you're going to have the director election. We're going to talk a little bit about that because we have the director elections nowadays are a little bit different than they were before. Nowadays, it's where the members send in a written ballot through the U.S. mail. Before, it was where you would show up and you would vote right there in the meeting. So a little bit different. And so in addition, when do you have, to answer your question?
There's probably a little bit, you can have a little confidentiality when you submit your vote now, since you're not raising your hand in an annual meeting and everyone's pointing fingers, right?
I think that was one of the purpose for the director election, also other elections as well. In addition to the annual meeting, you have special member meetings, and these are on different occasions. Actually, what we'll tell you is that the individual homeowners, the members, they can make a request to the board to go ahead and hold a member meeting for any legal purpose. It has to be for a legal purpose. They can't just have a meeting, require the association to have a meeting to get together and to talk. And that is, we'll go into a little bit more detail on that as well. So the corporation code associations are mutual benefit nonprofit corporations. What that means is nonprofit versus profit. Nonprofit means that the association, they don't disperse the profits as they do in a profit corporation. That's a big difference. So it's a different part of the corporation code. We're going to go through some numbers in addition to the Davis-Sterling Act, some numbers in the corporation code. And so, Vianna, open forum. So we're going to first talk about that because this is a misunderstood time in meetings. So
Right. And so actually, Brad and I were talking a lot about this yesterday, about the difference between board meetings and member meetings in terms of the open forum. So in board meetings, the open forum can be held before the meeting, and then you can actually begin the meeting and conduct the business that is supposed to be held at the meeting. But in member meetings, the open forum is held during the meeting itself. So that affects a lot of what goes on at the meeting.
yes, and it's important to know that it's not a choice, that you need to have the open forum. You need to have the open forum in board meetings, and we talked about board meetings before. Now we're talking about member meetings. Remember, these are meetings where you need a quorum of homeowners, not a quorum of board members. And we have the annual meeting, and we have special member meetings as well. And there needs to be a time period where the owners get to speak. So, Jonathan, what do you think? They can just get on that soapbox?
Well, I was going to say the wealth of knowledge I've gained from this show, and I think that during those open forums, you want to make sure that you maybe limit the time that each person has to speak, right? You can do that. So you want to say, you know what, you've got 3 minutes. Anybody that wants to come up and take their time on the soapbox or discuss their issue, let's limit it to 3 to 5 minutes, right? Because what if you went to an open meeting and there was a forum and you had 50 board members that all wanted to go up there? Not realistic.
50
but
homeowners.
50 homeowners, excuse me.
Right.
Still waking up, and they all wanted to speak on an issue. I mean, you could be there for 5-6 hours. I've heard these meetings have gone on for. That's kind of ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, by then you really don't know what you're talking about. So definitely, the law provides that you may limit the time that either each person gets to speak or the total open forum time, perhaps. So
right. So
reasonable.
you want to have a policy in place. You want to have a policy in place for open forum periods for board meetings, of course, because they happen more frequently than member meetings, but have it for member meetings as well. And some boards, they'll use an egg timer, right?
Oh, that's
and you
very
give them
specific.
2 or 3 minutes.
Tick, tick, tick.
Yeah.
Right. So what we always like to say is that, well, the Gettysburg Address lasted. I mean, that's one of the most famous speeches of all. Right? Gettysburg Address.
Right.
So, you guys, how long do you think the Gettysburg Address was?
18 minutes.
18 minutes is your guess.
That's my guess.
Your guess,
Vianna? At one point I knew this, but I think it was about 10 or so.
It's about 3 minutes.
3
Oh, wow.
minutes.
Yeah,
We were way off.
yeah. One of the most famous speeches, and so it's really not the key to say a lot when you're at these open forums, but to say it well, right? And it is a great forum for you to express yourself. You'll hear a lot where board members will say to homeowners, look, I can't address this now as we're walking down the street in the development. I happen to be getting my mail. You come up to me, you have an issue, homeowner, come to the board meeting.
Right.
And that's when you could say it. That's when you can
And
go
better
in
yet, come to the member meeting.
and come to the member meeting.
Yeah.
Right. It is such a chore for boards to get their homeowners to come to the annual meeting.
Unless they say they're raising assessments, right?
Now, what do you mean by that? Oh, I see. Money.
Yeah, money.
Right. So if the homeowners think that they're going to be having to spend more, oh, we have a call. Let's bring in our call.
Oh, it's our buddy from Foster City,
Oh, fantastic.
Mr. Wally Rick. Good morning.
Oh, I think you just hung
Well,
up.
Yeah, Frank will get him back on the line. He's still eating his biscuits
I think he
and
really
gravy.
didn't like what we were saying about the open forum.
Yeah, I think it's going to give a president's perspective on member meetings, so we'll bring him back. But like I was saying, is that it's hard to get members to come to annual meetings, and I know some associations, they'll actually have a full spread of food and dessert and drinks and everything.
That would
you
bring
know.
me in, for sure.
Right. Food brings you in. And also, now that elections are done by the mail, right, written ballots, each one of those written ballots, you guys, counts as a member attending the meeting for quorum purposes.
Even if they just mail it in.
Even if they just mailed in, it's still an attendance for quorum purposes. And what does quorum mean? That is the minimum number of members that must attend the meeting in order for there to be an official meeting, quorum purposes. And what is the quorum of your association? Is it 51%? That's kind of high, right?
It's probably in the governing documents, right?
You're right. It's definitely in the bylaws. It's in the bylaws, the quorums. And so a lot of homeowners, what they'll do is they will have their governing documents revised. Revised, what does that mean? Restated, revised, amended.
They're going to change them a little bit?
They're going to change them through a member vote, and they'll reduce the quorum down from something that was left there at 51% to something more achievable, down at 25%, 33%. I know one association. Oh, is that Wally back?
Yeah, Wally's back. Hey, Wally, how are you doing this morning?
Great, thanks.
How's your Saturday treating you thus far?
Well, it's early yet, so we'll find out. A full day ahead of us, but looks a little. It's nice out here. They've got a little fog in, so it's not the heat we've been experiencing the last week and a half. So.
Well, that sounds like it's going to be a beautiful day. Well, I'm doing okay.
Great.
I've got a cup of coffee in front of me, and we're just kind of just getting through the first portion of the show. And we're happy that you called. We haven't heard from you in a couple of weeks. And what's new and exciting out in Foster City?
Well, not too much. It's the typical things. I was contemplating a run for city council here, but I declined to run. So that's taken up about 3-4 weeks of my time interviewing with different political groups, council members, and at the end of the day, I said, being on the board of directors and my VP position for United HOA, I don't need another volunteer position. So,
hey, Wally, why don't you hold on with us through the break, and then we would like to hear about some of your experience in member meetings.
Great. I look forward to that.
All right, we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Stick with us, the Saturday HOA Brunch.
Great.
We've been hearing a lot about Uber lately. So
if your community association
has some actual Uber partners to get our questions answered.
Is signing up to drive with Uber really hard?
Nope, signing up with Uber is super easy.
It was simple and easy.
Okay, but can I drive my own car?
Yes. You get to drive your own car.
But my roommate doesn't even have a car. Can she drive with Uber?
They can help her get a car too.
I wouldn't be able to get a vehicle if it wasn't for Uber. It took me less than 6 hours to get a car.
So you could just sign up and earn money.
Sign up, drive, and you make some money.
You're saying I can just use the smartphone app to make money whenever I want?
Yeah, you just open the app whenever you feel like driving.
All I have to do is turn on my phone, hit the road, and I start making money.
Are the hours good?
I work less hours and I make more money.
I'm my own boss now, so I set my own hours.
Okay, this all sounds pretty great. What do you think I should do?
You need to sign up for Uber.
You can make serious life-changing money when you drive with Uber. Get started today at drivewithuber.com. That's drivewithuber.com. drivewithuber.com.
If your community association has a good relationship with their current management company, you can stop listening. However, if you are struggling with your current service provider, we'd love to talk with you to see if Omni Community Management would be a good fit. Transparency, education, communication, and trust are just 4 of the qualities that set Omni apart. This is Rolf Crocker, CEO of Omni. Call us at 916-965-8964. That's 916-965-8964. Online at omni-mgt.com. That's omni-mgt.com. Omni Community Management, your friend in the community association management industry for over 20 years.
Have you ever heard of the saying, a person's home is their castle? Of course you have. But sometimes a construction defect can turn your castle into a catastrophe. If this happens to you, you need proper and professional representation. You need Angius&Terry, LLP. For over 30 years, the attorneys at Angius&Terry have been effectively serving homeowners and community associations, recovering more than $500 million on behalf of their clients. Angius&Terry strives to ensure that your construction defect claims are prosecuted in an aggressive and cost-effective manner. Angius&Terry will also continue to work with homeowners and community associations after the construction defect claims are concluded to make sure that the money received from builders is spent wisely and that your interests are protected during the repair process. Don't let a construction defect turn your castle into a catastrophe. Call Angius&Terry LLP today at 916-567-1400. That's 916-567-1400. online at angius-terry.com. Angus and Terry, LLP.
News, opinion, insight. AM 1380. The Answer.
You're listening to the Saturday HOA Brunch presented by Angus and Terry, LLP. And now your hosts, Brad Epstein and Jonathan Broderick on AM 1380, The Answer.
Hey, we're back, and just before the break, our good friend called in, Wally Rick from Foster City. Unfortunately, he just informed us that he's no longer going to be able to run for city council, but that's okay because he's got a huge responsibility. He works for a nonprofit, right, Wally, on the board of directors? Hey, Wally. Well, Frank's over there. He's changing it up. He's got another caller calling in, so in a couple minutes we'll speak with Wally Rick. Hey, Wally, can you hear us?
I sure can.
Oh, okay. Well, so we were discussing with everyone before that, you're no longer going to run for city council, so we're not going to be able to help with the campaign. But we know that you work on the board of directors, right, in your community association?
I sure do. I've been on the board here at Isle Cove for over 25 years. So
25 years.
25 years. So out of 42 years, I've lived at the same property. So almost more than 50% of my time has been service to this community as board president.
Oh, okay. So do you have any fun stories or anything that you guys do to entice the membership in your community to come to the member meetings?
And Deanna, hang on the line. We'll get to you in a second.
Well, that's a really good question. I think this is a great topic to talk about because one of the issues I think most of the HOAs have is trying to get a quorum, particularly at your annual meeting. For instance, with us, it's taken us usually 2 meetings to get the quorum. Now we're in the process of changing the CC&Rs to get a lower reduction of the proxies to get voting. Right now, we need 141 proxies to come in before we can actually consider the meeting official. So, and that really puts a lot of pressure on board members having to go twice, particularly when you've had the elections. But I would be really curious too to listen to some of the other board members on how they get those forms. But if I could add a couple of funny stories that we did have.
Absolutely.
As far as annual meetings go, annual meetings, we use that as a time, and the enticement that I usually put in there in our newsletters prior to the annual meetings is really to talk about how their money was spent. So I usually go through a PowerPoint presentation for the year to say, this is what we've done, this is exactly where your money was spent, and we actually put line items there, putting down the construction cost compared to the actual cost that came in. So we can show if we were over, under, or right on target. So we really try to encourage homeowners to come into those meetings and to basically listen to how their money's being spent and to basically illustrate the effectiveness of what your board's doing. But I will add one of the fun stories, and it wasn't really fun to begin with, but I was at a meeting one time, and this guy came into our homeowners session meeting, which we usually have from 7 to 7:30. We usually allow that open for the members to come in. They have 3 minutes. They sign a piece of paper and they talk about what their issue is, and then it'll be reviewed. So I get this, this particular night we had about maybe 9 people there, and little did I know, out of the 9 people that were there, 7 of them were on towing. So one guy in particular comes in. He had to be about 350 pounds, and first thing when I saw his notice and his name was on there, I recognized him, and I said, "Oh my goodness!" And on there, he was a former 49. At that time, he was a 49er. This was some time ago.
Oh, wow!
Yeah, but he comes into the meeting, and I look at his notice, what he's there to talk about, and it was on towing. So I said, "Oh boy, what a guy not to tow! What a guy to tow!" So
yeah, right. Or tow his vehicle on game day, and he can't even show up.
So I take it. He was like number 4. So I put his name and call him for his 3-minute little presentation as to what happened. Well, to find out, our towing company was a little aggressive on this person. Him and his wife had just gotten back from shopping. She was like 9 months pregnant. They had parked their car right behind their garage, and we don't have driveways. It's just Main Street. They were only there for about 10 minutes. They came in to put their car and park it in a visitor parking stall. Their car was gone. And guess what? Lo and behold, the baby was coming. They were running to the car.
Oh my gosh.
No car.
Horrible.
So thank goodness they got a hold of me, and they asked me if I could get them to the hospital, and I got them to the hospital on time. And you better believe that policy changed from that time on, where this guy was literally, he asked for reimbursement, of course, and we gave them the reimbursement on that. And of course, this guy could have lifted the whole clubhouse over his shoulder. So
yeah, I don't even know in the governing documents where a board of directors would have a protocol for birth, right? I mean,
exactly. And I mean, we realize the securities issues, and I'm sure most of your listeners out there realize that parking is really a big issue at most HOAs. But what we did then was put more of a user-friendly. If the car is there, they have blinking lights on, at least go to the front of the door, knock on it to say, listen, we're going to tow your car, so you're being warned. And that was implemented. So, and as it turns out, they had a beautiful little girl. I actually got a ticket to see the 49ers play, so it worked out all right.
Wow. So, I mean, you kind of went above and beyond your fiduciary duty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and of course, when I heard the story, and most of these people, when they come into these meetings, they're usually angry. I mean, once you take the notice and they state it, their voice continues to elevate up and up. That's why I think we at least have a session that's only allowed 3 minutes to speak, because we don't want it really to consume one, and number two. We're there as therapists in that homeowner session, I would have to say, just listen to their concerns. But most of all,
therapists. And
I think most board members can agree on this. Very seldom do you get members that come in and thank you for the job you've done. It's usually things that aren't done, and our big things are usually parking, violation notices, et cetera, But never do they say thank you so much for the job you guys are doing. Guys and women are doing. It's basically just, as we all know, it's a thankless job, but it's a job that I've always felt is so important, is to have that connection with your community.
It is. Hey, Wally, we have to cut you off.
Okay.
We're going to go back to break here.
We're going to go back to break. Wally, again, thank you for giving us your
You guys got
insight.
a great show, and thanks again.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Okay.
You too. Always a pleasure, Wally.
Thank you, Wally.
Again, guys.
And
Bye-bye.
Sarah, we see you're on the line, so you just hang on, and we'll get to you in a minute. We want to hear all about how you rid some of your associations of crime. We'll talk to you in just a minute.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. An American Air Force serviceman stabbed while tackling a gunman on a European train yesterday has been transferred to a larger hospital in northern France. U.S. National Guardsman Alex Carlotto says he and his friends Anthony Sadler, the one who was injured, and Spencer Stone just reacted when they saw the man board the train with weapons, as he explained to Britain's Sky News.
We were scared for sure, but adrenaline mostly just took over because I didn't even have time to think. I didn't even realize or fully comprehend what was going on. I honestly didn't even believe it. It felt like it was a dream or a movie or something.
It was his traveling companion, Spencer Stone, who was stabbed as he got to the gunman first in Mobile, Alabama last night.
Ladies and gentlemen,
pretty good sized turnout.
Please welcome our next president of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Some 30,000 people turned out last night to hear the GOP presidential frontrunner Donald Trump lay out his vision for America at Mobile's Ladd Peoples Stadium. In this week's Republican radio address, it was Senator John Thune who said there's been a lot accomplished with Republicans in control of Congress, but more needs to be done.
The Obama administration has presided over the worst economic recovery in 70 years. As a result, too many hardworking families are stuck living paycheck to paycheck.
Meanwhile, the president's still struggling to sell lawmakers on both sides of the aisle on his Iranian nuclear deal.
While the president has made no public appearances during his vacation, he's been privately reaching out to Democratic lawmakers in a bid to boost support for the Iran deal. Congress will vote next month on a resolution of disapproval on the accord to curb Iran's nuclear program in exchange for billions of dollars in sanctions relief. The president is expected to have to veto the measure, but White House officials have expressed confidence they can block any GOP override efforts.
That is SRN News White House correspondent Greg Clugston, and this is SRN News.
Did you see the story about the Homeowners Association? I wonder what their residents think.
I don't know, but I love my condominium association. The place looks great and is well managed, and our property values are increasing.
Well, that's a good thing.
Community Associations Institute, CAI, has helped us build a great community. They have tools for safeguarding our investment, including education for our board and professional training for our manager. Just visit CAI at responsiblecommunities.com.
Okay, responsiblecommunities.com.
Hi, I'm Morgan Fussell. My company, Broadband Agreements, negotiates cable television and broadband right of entry, access, and compensation agreements for your communities. At Broadband Agreements, we offer a free review of all agreements with a signed letter of authorization. Broadband Agreements will improve your community's income and/or savings, or you don't pay us a dime. Visit us at broadbandagreements.com. That's broadbandagreements.com. Or call me, Morgan Fussell, directly at 916-939-5026. That's 916-939-5026. Broadband Agreements online at broadbandagreements.com or 916-939-5026. Hi, I'm Morgan Fussell. My company, Broadband Agreements, negotiates cable television and broadband right of entry, access, and compensation agreements for your communities. At Broadband Agreements, we offer a free review of all agreements with a signed letter of authorization. Broadband Agreements will improve your community's income and/or savings, or you don't pay us a dime. Visit us at broadbandagreements.com. That's broadbandagreements.com. Or call me, Morgan Fussell, directly at 916-939-5026. That's 916-939-5026. Broadband Agreements online at broadbandagreements.com. or 916-939-5026.
AM 1380. The Answer.
You're listening to the Saturday HOA Brunch presented by Angius&Terry, LLP. And now your hosts, Brad Epstein and Jonathan Broderick on AM 1380, The Answer.
Hi, I'm Morgan Fussell. No, just kidding. Well, we like Morgan, so we just doubled up there. We're back, and we're talking about membership meetings, and our good friend Wally Rick just called from Foster City. Huge fan of the show. He's got his own homeowners association organization that he's involved in and the vice president of, so it's always good to get Wally's insight regarding the industry. And now I believe our two managers that are going to duke it out on the topic of the day, membership meetings, are on the line. We have Sarah and Deanna. How are you, ladies?
Good morning. Fine. How about you guys?
Good.
We can hear you guys loud and clear.
That's good.
Hey, Sarah, let's talk to you first briefly. So, Sarah, I don't know if you heard right at the break. I wanted to see if you could tell us a little bit about how you rid some of those communities that you have in San Joaquin Valley of crime. Can you give a little, just a couple things that you did that helped you achieve it?
Well, I work really closely with law enforcement. I work really closely with the board of directors, and I have an armed guard.
Really?
Yeah, yes. I saw some.
Is that a 22 or a Colt 45? What's your armed guard?
I'm not sure what he carries, but I know what I carry.
Yeah, there you go. I remember when she tested for that. The neat thing is that the armed guard, is that the one with the chest cam, Sarah?
Yes, he is actually very much like a police officer. He has the body camera, and he gives us full reports, including picture of what's going on. So if I have an owner or a tenant that's acting out or doing something that needs to be addressed, not only do I just have his notes, but I actually have video footage to provide to that owner to help facilitate the removal of a tenant if need be.
Yes, wow. Very helpful. Pictures worth 1,000 words. And now why don't we speak with Deanna. Deanna, welcome.
Hello, thank you.
Hi, Deanna.
Good morning.
Yeah, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing okay. How about you guys?
We're all right.
Cal.
Huh?
Okay. Hi, Deanna.
Hello.
Yeah, Deanna's a good friend of the show. She's been. How long have you been a community manager, Deanna?
Almost 15 years.
15 years. Best 15 years of your life, right? You said?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so you guys are going to listen to the legal discussion for another 5 minutes, and then we will go into Battle of the Managers, where we'll ask some questions and award some prizes.
Okay, fantastic. So first we're going to talk about who may attend member meetings. Member meetings are for members, and it is at the discretion of the members or the inherent authority, I think, of the chairperson who could attend. Non-members. For instance, what are some examples? Non-member spouses, renters, homeowners' attorneys who can attend. So
Realtors?
It would be a little unwieldy for the members to vote on. Okay, I mean, I guess hypothetical is where a non-member shows up, and then people notice and they say, "Well, you're not here," and then should their decision be made? I think, in essence, a member meeting is not a board meeting. The board doesn't make decisions at it. Any kind of motions that are made with all of the members. But I think that the chairperson has inherent authority to say, well, no, you're not a member, you can't be here. And then a member then, at that point, I believe is how it would go. They say, well, point of order, I want to put this to vote. And then they could go ahead and put it to vote of the members who attend. Now, this isn't a real huge issue. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because we had just said a couple minutes ago, right, you guys, that we can barely get members to come to meetings,
Yeah.
so
I really
it's not a
doubt
huge deal.
that other people in the community would show up. So what about proxies? I know that's something that sending in someone as a proxy, how does that work?
Right. First of all, what a proxy is it's a written, signed document where you delegate your authority as a member to someone else. They will vote for you. And proxies are not real relevant anymore because of written mailed ballots. So at an election for directors, for example, the association will send in the U.S. mail, by law, a written ballot to all the owners who will sign it, secret ballot, put it in an envelope, put that little envelope in a big envelope and send it to the association. And so that is their attendance. And let's say that a homeowner wants to get someone elected. So what they'll do is they could just go home to home and say, "Give me your ballot. Can I go ahead and send in your ballot? Can I go ahead and ask you to vote for them? And can I bring it into the meeting?" Now they could do proxies as well, but it's almost the same now that you have ballots. So proxies aren't done all that much anymore.
And proxies can be used at membership meetings, but definitely not at directors' meetings.
Excellent point. A board member cannot proxy his duties to someone else. You cannot have someone else attend because board members, as opposed to homeowner, have a fiduciary duty. So that's super important. As a homeowner, you don't have a fiduciary duty. You can make any kind of decision, any kind of votes based on your interest and your interest alone. Whereas a board member at a board meeting, they have to make their decisions
on behalf of the whole association, right?
Absolutely.
And if you want to use a proxy for elections regarding either assessments, election removal of directors, or amendments to the governing documents, or grant of exclusive use common area, if you want to use a proxy for those items, the proxy must be written and it must give another member the power to vote on your behalf, and it must be signed.
Yeah, let me underline that because there's basically 5 items that are special. Those 5 items are special in that there are elections regarding assessments, elections regarding directors, elections to remove a director, elections to amend the governing documents, elections to grant exclusive use of common area to another homeowner. Those particular items must be voted on by the members through that secret written ballot. Other items don't necessarily, unless your election rules state they must be, don't need to be through that secret written ballot process, such as your bylaws may require a vote for the association to get a loan or a vote to make a capital improvement above 5% of the budgeted gross expenses for the fiscal year. So
that was a tongue twister.
No, right.
Another important point to make about members' meetings is that people sometimes think they're so different than board meetings that you don't have to comply with some of the same provisions. But for example, minutes also have to be kept at members' meetings, so they're not just for directors' meetings. Minutes need to be kept at the meeting, and then they have to also be available to the members within 30 days.
No, not exactly. Okay, so the law says that a summary or a draft can be available within 30 days because it's not going to be approved. Check it out. So member meetings, they have member meeting minutes. Those meeting minutes have to be approved by the members. And when's that going to happen? It happens at the next annual meeting, at the next meeting. So that'll be clear if let's say you only have annual meetings, you don't have any other member meetings, you have the member meeting minutes, they can't be signed and approved until the next,
right?
And that's a year
So it's
later. So
either
it
a
would be a
draft
draft, but
or a summary,
right, within 30 days.
Right.
How about notice?
And then notice has to also be provided. So we have like the annual meeting.
And what do you mean by notice? What do you mean by notice?
So a notice you have to provide to let the members know basically that the meeting is going to happen. So that's a notice of the meeting.
Notification that a meeting is going to be held. Okay.
Yeah. So you need to provide the time and place of the meeting, and it has to be the notice has to be provided at least 10 days before the meeting, but not more than 90 days. Now there's a little catch. If there's going to be an election held at the meeting, the notice should go out at least 30 days before, so that there's enough time for balloting.
Yeah, it makes sense because that secret written ballot law says that you must send a ballot out at least 30 days before the deadline. And usually they make the deadline the day of the meeting.
Right.
So you're going to put the notice along with your ballot as well.
But if there is no election to be held at that meeting, then you can provide notice at least 10 days. That is about the shortest you can
Between
provide
10 and
notice.
90 days.
Right.
And how may notice be provided by the associations? This is notice that the association sends to the members to tell them that they're going to have a member meeting. So
So either the notice can be provided either personally, but if you have a really big community, I think that's probably unwieldy. Personally, electronically, or by U.S. mail, or other written means that the association uses, like newsletters or perhaps posting.
Right, but electronically, it has to be accepted or consented. First, a member must say, I will go ahead and I'll take my notices electronically. It can't just, so it's a sort of a back and forth. The owner has to say they'll accept it electronically, then the association can send it electronically. You got that, Jonathan?
Yeah, I've got
Your
it. I'm
eyes are
diligently taking notes here. Proxies, membership meetings, all kinds of crazy stuff. When we come back from break, we're going to play Battle of the Managers with Deanna and Sarah. Should be fun, right?
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Having trouble understanding your community association's reserve study? Does your HOA's reserve study seem to be written in a strange language? Hi, I'm Robert Browning, owner of the Browning Reserve Group. At the Browning Reserve Group, we have been providing easy-to-understand reserve studies since 1999. We actually listen to our communities and help them plan for the future. Find us online at browningrg.com. That's browningrg.com, or toll free at 877-708-0600. That's 877-708-0600. Clarity from complexity, the Browning Reserve Group.
The challenges presented by today's economy and rebounding housing market is forcing many homeowners association boards of directors to operate their HOAs more like a business. It's a balancing act of trying to stay solvent and still provide homeowners with quality amenities and services. One of the main challenges HOA boards are facing is attempting to recover unpaid HOA fees owed by delinquent homeowners. Collection efforts are often very time-consuming. If you want to get the HOA fees collection monkey off of your back, call ATC Assessment Collection Group. ATC is an attorney-supervised collection company providing collection and foreclosure services to HOAs in both California and Nevada's most recognizable communities. Get back to what you actually volunteered to do as an HOA board member. Effectively oversee your community. Call ATC today at 916-641-1410. That's 916-641-1410. Online at atcacg.com. That's atcacg.com. ATC Assessment Collection Group.
News, opinion, insight. AM 1380. The Answer.
You're listening to the Saturday HOA Brunch presented by Angius&Terry, LLP. And now your hosts, Brad Epstein and Jonathan Broderick on AM 1380, The Answer.
Well, we're back from break, and it was important. Viana brought to our attention that she had one more little tidbit of knowledge that you wanted to distribute to the listenership, right, Bianca?
Yeah, I think this one is an important one. So we're talking about membership meetings, and one of the most important aspects of membership meetings is the meetings that the members themselves can call for up for a special meeting. So 5% of the members are permitted to call a special meeting, and this right of the members to call a special meeting is a legal right they have, and it cannot be eliminated by a provision in the governing documents. However, members can be restricted on the type of business that they can call at the special meeting. And the purpose of the meeting, if the members call it, must be set out in the petition, and the board may verify signatures before setting the meeting and giving notice. So it's not just any issue. You can just get 5% of the members to sign a petition and have a meeting, but it has to be, the purpose must be stated, and the signatures may be verified.
It's time to play.
Excellent. Okay, so what are we've got Battle of the Managers.
Battle of the
community
Managers. Yeah.
From two different areas, right? One's down in the Central Valley, one's here in the Sacramento region. And one of them carries a loaded shotgun to her meetings, and the other one says that it's been the best 15 years of her life as a community manager.
I think that about covers it. So some of these questions might be beyond the scope of what we covered today, so that's going to give you.
Have faith.
It's going to be a challenge. So, are you guys ready? Let me hear if you guys are enthusiastic and ready. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Sarah is.
Right? Yeah,
good, Deanna. Okay, so Sarah's going to go first. So, you guys, this is true or false. Just true, false, and we're just going to buzz right through it. Don't worry, you're going to do great. If not, it's just going to make more competition. So the winner's going to get a $100 gift card. The second place winner's going to get a $50 gift card.
So nobody really loses.
No one loses. Right. Sarah, are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, she sounds so enthusiastic. Thank you. Okay, so question number one. The member's right to call a special member meeting, is a legal right that may not be taken away through the governing documents.
Correct.
That is right. True. Ding, ding, ding. Great job. Voting by the members may be done electronically.
True, if consented.
No, let me say that's voting, not notice. So you know that.
I can't hear.
You can't hear? Is that Deanna?
Yeah.
We'll wait to your turn, and we'll get that
Deanna,
cleared up.
you can't be swimming in the pool and trying to talk on your home phone.
Okay, question number 3. Proxies may not be used in lieu of a ballot for director elections.
One more time.
Yeah, proxies may not be used instead of a ballot for director elections.
Proxies may not be used instead of a ballot?
Yeah.
Ooh, this one's tough.
It is tough. Take your time.
Well,
you know the answer
long.
to this one. Proxies may not be used instead of a ballot for director elections. You know what happens when someone votes for a director election?
Well, you can't. Proxies are kind of out of date because
You're right.
have double ballot.
Right,
so
you got to use a ballot.
no.
So yeah, that's true. Okay, excellent. First round.
Yeah, how'd you do,
That's
Bianca?
pretty good. That was a really tough one. She got 2 out of 3
2 out
with
of 3.
that tough one.
Okay, so hopefully, Deanna, you're going to hear the questions by Jonathan.
Deanna, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right. Are you ready for your questions?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time hearing you, but I'll do my best.
All right. So, first question. Realtors may be prohibited from attending membership meetings.
Who?
Realtors.
I can't hear you.
Realtors may be prohibited from attending membership meetings.
True.
Got it. 5% of the members may call a special meeting.
Say it again.
5% of the members may call a special meeting.
True.
Got it. Minutes do not have to be kept for membership meetings.
False.
Got it.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, Deanna. 3 out of 3.
3 out of 3. Sarah, okay, time for a comeback. Sarah, question number 1. Notice of a membership meeting may be given 5 days before the meeting. Notice of a membership meeting. False, you're right.
Wow, she hit that one.
Out of the park. An election is one example of a reason to hold a membership meeting.
Crickets.
An election is one example of a reason to hold a membership meeting.
That's for Deanna, right?
No, that's for
these
you.
are
I'm
your
sorry.
questions.
Right, 3 to you, Sarah. So question number 2 for Sarah. An election.
Oh. Sorry.
That's okay.
True or false, Sarah?
Oh, I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking to
An
Deanna.
An election is one example of a reason to hold a membership meeting.
True.
That's right. Last question this round for Sarah is non-member spouses may be allowed to attend member meetings. Non-member spouses may be allowed.
False.
No, that's true. They can allow it. They can go ahead and say you can do it. All right, so
That's a trick question.
I know it is.
We're giving Sarah all the trick questions.
We're not saying our questions are fair.
Right.
No one ever said that.
Okay, hopefully Deanna's standing on her roof so that we have better reception. But can you hear us still, Deanna?
Yeah, I can. I'm trying to walk around. Go ahead.
All right, sounds good. If 5% of the members call a special meeting, they do not have to state in their petition the purpose of the meeting.
Yes, they do. True.
Brad, do you want to chime in on that one? What do you think?
If I heard the question right.
Right, she just turned around, so that's fine.
Yeah, she got the question right, but
I just wanted some clarity from complexity. All right, second question. Tenants may be prohibited from attending membership meetings.
True.
Got it. Proxies for director elections must be signed to be valid.
True.
Got it.
Okay,
Wow,
3 for
Deanna's
3. We got some work to do.
Yeah,
Okay, Sarah, you ready?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to rattle off 5 straight questions to you. The first one is,
Oh, my goodness.
if members request a special meeting, the members may obtain a court order to give the notice.
Get a court order?
Yeah, they may. If the board doesn't give the
they
notice.
may.
Yeah, true, exactly. Notice of a membership meeting must always be provided personally.
True.
That's false. And the last one, members are allowed to attend a teleconference meeting of the board if it is not an executive session meeting.
True.
That is true.
Got
Can we continue with all 5?
Yeah,
we have
we've
enough
got-
time. Okay. Membership, and 2 more, Sarah. Membership meetings may have an agenda,
True.
right? And the last one for you, the annual policy statement must inform owners of their right to obtain copies of any meeting minutes.
True.
All right, got
Good
it.
job.
Quick, 30
what
seconds.
a comeback. 9 out of 11.
9 out of 11. All right, Deanna, 30 seconds, 5 questions, true or false. We got to go quick here because Frank's yelling at us that our time is up. So are you ready, Deanna?
I'm here.
All right, even if voting is done entirely through the U.S. mail, a meeting still has to be held to count the votes.
I couldn't hear the question.
All right, even if voting is done entirely through U.S. mail, a meeting still has to be held to count the votes.
Yes.
All right, members are allowed to speak at meetings and no time limit may ever be set.
False.
Ballots for a CC&R amendment must be provided at least 30 days before the meeting where voting is to take
True.
place. An annual meeting of the members is held if the bylaws provide for it.
True.
Proxies may only be used if permitted by the association's bylaws.
True, I think.
All right,
Wow,
well, hey, that's
she
Battle
got
of the Managers.
11 out of 11.
100%.
And Sarah just got 2 wrong, so great. You guys, thank you so much for being contestants on the second edition of Battle of the Managers.
Yeah, thanks a
So
lot for
thanks, Sarah.
listening.
Thanks, Deanna. Everyone, thanks for listening.
Deanna, do you have any big plans today?
I don't have any big plans, but I'm so impressed with Deanna. Wow, I think it's been a long time since we've had anybody got
I think she was
perfect
cheating.
100%.
I think she had her David
I don't know.
Sterling out and she was flipping through the pages.
And Sarah had such a crazy comeback.
Yeah,
We gave
yeah,
her all
Sarah,
the tough ones.
Sarah, what are your closing thoughts?
I think she's
she's gone already.
researching her answers and
Okay.
checking our questions twice.
She got all the tough ones and then came back with a 9 out of 11. Really impressive.
See you guys next week.